Like, you got to be explicit if you really want something. Watch and speak for yourself, Marcel Swati. Emmanuel Acho, forever your name. Let's head to Seattle, where Russell Wilson is at Seahawks camp. Seahawks! After an offseason that was filled with reports of frustration and trade rumors. Pete Carroll said they're on good terms, but the report says the two sides could be in line to give it a shot for another 2 years, and the situation feels like a, quote, short-term marriage. Heard of those. So, Acho, should Russell Wilson want to be in Seattle long-term?
No, and he shouldn't, because Russell Wilson's level of commitment should match the Seahawks' level of commitment. Let's go back to 2017 when the Seahawks were contemplating trading Russell Wilson prior to that NFL draft. Rumors had it because they were interested in Baker Mayfield. Why would you, Russell Wilson, want to be committed to a team that they every year check their commitment levels to you? March, we still committed to Russ? Okay, we'll check next year. March 2022, we still committed to Russ? Okay, we'll check again next year. You can't commit to somebody long-term if their commitment to you is on a yearly or annual basis or a monthly basis. The other thing I look at is, in the NFL, organization's always going to do what's best for them. Always and forever going to do what's best for them.
Message.
Russ, you got to do what's best for you, big dog. Like, they'll let you cook one day, then they won't let you cook the next. They want to run the ball one day, they don't want to get pass happy the next. They want to solidify the defensive line, they don't want to solidify the secondary. Like, they're always trying to figure out what is in their best interest. You, Russell Wilson, have to figure out what is in your best interest. Now, truth be told, you're on a team with a top 5 management in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks, as far as head coach, general manager, winning organization, and culture. You have a generational talent at wide receiver. I don't know if he will be a generational wide receiver, but a generational talent at wide receiver in DK Metcalf, one of the fastest 100-meter runners, including track and field runners in America. So you have a generational talent at wide receiver.
Okay.
And you
You want to hijack this segment? You were doing fine. I was being respectful. Slow ass in track, fast in football. Fast in football, slow in track.
And you also have Tyler Lockett, who is just a stud, humble, and also has been a career overachiever. Shout out to him. Yeah. So, Russ, can you really go somewhere that's better? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Can you go to an organization where you can also find top 5 management as far as a Super Bowl winning head coach, plus a great general manager, plus a generational talent at receiver, plus a star overachieving wide receiver? To me, the answer is no. However, Russ, you got to calculate that annually because the Seahawks are calculating whether they want you or not annually.
Oh, man. Ugh. Yes, he should want to be committed to them short-term, long-term, any term. Russell Wilson to Seattle. First of all, what are your options? Oh, you gave us that little list. You had 4 teams I would like to go there. Are you there? No. You know why? Because the grass is not greener, and also, this is the best situation for you. Stay still, brother. As Drake said, God's plan. Like, stay still right here. This is the plan. Wasn't Seattle the flavor of the month for years? Remember, not even a decade ago, Seattle, 12th man. I felt bad because Kansas City is allowed to stadium in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a damn whatever the noise meter they have and Richter scale. Look, shut it. Go to Arrowhead and play, and then go to Seattle and play. You're going to know the difference. So anyway, I got mad that they started talking all this talk about how the 12th man and Seattle this. And I was like, new flavor of the month. Now all of a sudden you don't want to be there? The same Seattle team that has allowed you to have a top 5 rushing offense in 6 of your 9 seasons. Let's not even talk about number one defense. Yep. How many times I got to say it? Here's a stat for you. Since Russell Wilson came into the league, no quarterback has won more games than Russell Wilson and his team when they score less than 20 points. Oh, you want to go somewhere else when they're going to test you, make Russ cook? Now, I know he can play. I know he's a baller. Last year, he had his best statistical season. But don't act like you haven't had the support. And the support not only from the running game, the support from the defensive personnel, but also from that organization, the winning personnel upstairs. So I just don't see the issues with Seattle. Russell, make it make sense. Joined now by Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. So, Bucky, should Russell Wilson want to be in Seattle long term?
I mean, I think the bigger question, should the Seattle Seahawks want Russell Wilson to be there long term based on how he's playing? I know we've talked about this before. Russell Wilson tried to really use his leverage or make this a play. But this, I told you, was about money. Now we're at a situation where all of those teams that he threw out there, they're like, nah, Russ, you stand with us. But Russell has to play well enough to really deserve to be their starting quarterback long term. And I know what you're saying, Acho. How could this be? Why would they ever move on from Russell Wilson? The reason why is because they've hit the ceiling in terms of how far they can go with Russell Wilson as their playmaker. This team was much better when Russell Wilson was the game manager. And even though there's a faction of the fan base that is saying, let Russ cook, whenever Russ cooks, the meals are burned in the kitchen. We have seen it time and time again. Last year, they started the season. Let Russ cook. All right, Russ, we got you in the kitchen cooking. They averaged 34 points a game. He was over 300 passing yards per game, passer rating 117. But the more they cook, the more the meals start coming back to the kitchen. Last half of the year, we saw them average only a little bit over 20 points per game, passer rating is at 89. The last 9 games, he only averaged 200 passing yards per game. So the bigger question is, Russ has to say, look, I want to go back, but I need to go back knowing that we need to play a certain way, not only to protect the team, but to protect me from being exposed as the playmaker that I'm really not.
Okay, see, Bucky.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You must have been off too long.
Yes.
You coming in here with too much heat.
Yes.
No, there can't be. Yes. So Russ has started for 9 seasons. We came in together in 2012, so I believe he would have just finished year 9. He's been a Pro Bowler for 7 of the 9 seasons. Russell Wilson has started for 9 seasons, and he has never lost more than 7 games. He's never even gone 500, nor below 500. Even our beloved Dak Prescott has gone 500. Even Aaron Rodgers has gone below 500. We have plenty of beloved individuals who have gone 500 or below, and Russell Wilson has never done that. Pro Bowler 7 out of his 9 years. Russell Wilson has started 144 consecutive games. That would rank him 6th all time. It's currently the longest streak in the NFL. He's the 6th all time as far as consecutive starts, but he's been sacked 40-plus times the last 8 years. No quarterback in NFL history was sacked 40-plus times in 8 years, period. Is Russell Wilson contributing to that? Yes. Is he totally to blame for that? No. So with that being said, Bucky, I understand coming in with some heat. I understand coming in with some fire. I get all that. But if you're Russell Wilson and you're Pro Bowler 7 out of your 9 years, you've never been worse than 9-7. You were just 12-4. You looking like, look now, y'all can't get better than me either. So really the simple answer is, if you, Bucky, are saying the Seahawks can't get better than Russ, and Russ is saying, well, y'all can't get better than me, maybe they should just find a way to make it work. Because Seahawks ain't really getting much better than Russell Wilson either now if we're just keeping it a buck.
Ooh.
Key.
I mean, look, I can say a lot of things about Russell Wilson, and it's great that he hasn't had a losing season. But is that really all because of him?
No.
Or more so because of the culture and the environment that they did? Because the one thing that I know is when they run the football and play defense, they win, and they consistently win. You talked about those 2 talented receivers that he has on the outside, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, respectively. They're a top 5 duo. You think about what Pete Carroll is. I think we can say that Pete Carroll is maybe a top 5 coach in the National Football League. We can say a lot of things about what Russell Wilson wants, but I don't know if he can get it much better than how he has it in Seattle. Because remember this, and everybody loves to point out the fact that Russell Wilson has been sacked 40-plus times in each of the 8 seasons, and he's 100 more sacks than the next closest guy. But some of that is on Russ.
Correct.
Because when we talk about Russell cooking, Russell is not a quick rhythm thrower. Russell is a run-around, stand-like guy that likes to run around, make plays, and throw it over the head of the defense. It is hard for any offensive line to protect for a guy that doesn't play on rhythm. And so Russell can't come back. He will come back to a system that is more structured that will help him. That is part of the reason why Pete Carroll went and got a new offensive coordinator. Structure is what Russell needs. He can't freelance and freestyle and produce platinum hits. He needs structure to help him.
Say it again, man. I'm with you, Bucky, and I'm going to echo what you said and say even more. It's a thin line between love and hate, and it's a thin line at the quarterback position between being off script and just undisciplined. Be real. It's cute when it works out, but it ain't cute when you call something that could have worked, but it didn't work out because you are not disciplined. Now, we don't know how many of those grenades Pete Carroll jumps on for Russell Wilson, but he better be careful because Pete might let him out. And it's a sad equation. I've been here before. Me personally, seen other guys. When a team looks at you play and you balling, but they say less of you means more for us. Think about that. Like when Russ ain't cooking, they kind of cooking. And when he starts cooking, well, they smelling some burnt chips and they don't know what's going on out there. This is not a shot, but damn, it's going to sound like one. Russell Wilson has been called out for losing a Super Bowl before. Like, think about that. Like, imagine it, and he doesn't bear all of that weight, and he shouldn't. But